Is it going to record two of them then? Hey, Shethinker listeners. We need your help to send us to Skepticon. This is completely unscripted, but fuck it, we're doing it live.
And drunk.
And drunk. And we're not even entirely certain if you can hear us right now. But fuck it, whatever. So we need help to send all of the Shethinkers and other gals and guys from Secular View to Skepticon, which is held in Missouri every year, and it's actually kind of the inception of Secular View last year.
We were born at the last Skepticon, I think, because that's when
well,
we all...
I would say we were
all
conceived.
4 of us. Liz was there,
Les.
too.
Les.
We all kind of bonded in a
funny.
hotel room.
Yeah.
We won't go into detail, but we had a fun moment.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a few fun moments. Skepticon was the conception of Secular View, because it really didn't start for another, 9 months.
True.
Haha.
It had to be born. It had to grow.
Yep. You know.
But this year we're planning on taking at least 7 to 10 people connected to Secular View down with us. We're going to spend the weekend live blogging the workshops and all the talks, and we're also going to interview as many people as possible.
So live podcasts,
live
and
podcasting, interviews. Hina Databoy from Skepchick has agreed to do a battle of the books with me, Dirty Nerdy. I'm going to have the Bible, and she's going to have the Quran, and we're going to see which one hates women the most. It'll be a lot of fun. We tried to do it last year, not recorded or anything, just for fun, but I had a physical Bible in my hand, and she had an iPhone and was sitting there able to Google shit, so it wasn't fair. This time it's print only, no technological devices allowed to help us out, so...
We've got to send you with the Skeptics Annotated Bible.
Yeah, I'm taking the Skeptics Annotated Bible with me.
For sure.
Yeah. But that's just one thing that you'll be able to look forward to if you help us get to Skepticon.
I think that the main reason why I think people should donate to this is I know there are going to be people that have been wanting to meet us that are going to be going there, and if you want to see us, we are going to need funding. We're all not in finance. I have to point this out. There is this weird misconception that people who are activists and people who are out there talking about this shit have a ridiculous amount of money and time on their hands.
No, we don't.
This is...
We're broke as shit, man.
We're all students, and we all work, we work jobs we like, but they don't pay the greatest.
I don't work a job I like.
Okay,
What are you
some of
talking
us
about?
work jobs
I like
we
my job.
Shut up, Tori.
But,
I'm just going to keep
but we don't make a
snuggling
shit ton
bubbles
of money, and here's the thing. We are activists. Activists do not make a lot of money. We don't, and so we do need help, and we just want to ask, would you please help us get to the place where we are conceived, a place where we can all get together and be with one another, but also be with you and get to know you and possibly have drinks with you. So
Yay, drinking!
Yay, drinking! That's what we do
that's
here at
pretty much.
Shethinkers.
That's pretty much what happens.
I do want to say, what are we trying to raise? What, only $700?
$700.
And we
It's
have-
$750, I
And that's
think.
to help our friends who need to
Yeah.
fly to Skepticon.
Yeah.
We're not going to get there in any glamorous ways.
We're gonna be in a minivan,
we're gonna be in a
mom
van.
style, with 7 people.
We're going to, cram as many people as we can in our
I
hotel
just
rooms.
want to say, we have 650-something followers on Spreaker. So
if
each
of
one...
you donate $1.
Yeah, just donate $1 and we're almost there.
Yeah, it's true. And the other thing is I think for me, I would love to pay out of pocket for all of the girls to go. I really would, but I can't afford it. I just can't.
Really, we can only afford those of us who live in Texas to go.
Yeah.
Right.
At this point.
I would like to get people from other parts. I would rather not just have Texans from Secular View there. So if you want other parts of the country to come, definitely donate to this.
And where can they donate? Well, it's at gofundme.com/Shethinkers. That's
Yay.
SHETHINKERS.
Shethinkers.
That's the longest commercial ever. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Because we did it live and it was unscripted.
And
I have
we
to
need
pee.
money to get there.
talking about cocaine and hookers or something?
Oh, alright.
Well, you know how Daniel rolls.
I thought you knew how Daniel rolls.
So, tonight's topic is microaggressions. Dirty Nerdy, since you're here, why don't you explain to our listeners what microaggressions are?
Oh shit, hold on.
Wait, we have just dived into something.
If you'd like, I can provide an example of microaggressions against bisexuals. Does that sound fun?
None of these links are working for me.
Well, here's an example of some microaggressions against bisexuals.
Like, how long have we been gay? But doesn't vagina taste like fish? Well, you're not bisexual, silly. You're just one of those girls who gets drunk at a bar and then you kiss another girl. Duh! Let me guess, you went to an all-girls private school, right? So, like, right now, you're just a little confused on if you like boys and girls. So, like, if gay guys can help you with fashion and stuff, what can bisexual girls do for me?
What can bisexuals do for me?
What can bisexuals do for you?
I think that's like the worst one. What can bisexuals do for me? I'm not your fucking monkey, dude.
Yeah, really. You want me to
I don't
dance
for you.
Wow.
I think this is okay. I think the whole meme that has come up about on YouTube, where they're like shit something says.
Oh, that's
I think
what
that
this
is
is.
the key of microaggression.
Yeah, that's kind of
It's
true.
a meme.
I was gonna say the YouTube meme of shit X's say about Y's is basically microaggression.
Yeah,
Yes.
I finally was able to open that link. None of the links in our thing are working tonight.
I don't know.
Basically, microaggressions are things said or done, many times unconsciously, that reflect a person's inner thinking, stereotypes, and prejudices. For instance, the one I'm reading is about Latinos. And some of the comments they talk about are when they say, wow, you speak so well. Or, you're not like them. You're really smart. You're different. And they will really like you. It's like, these little things is like, what? I speak well?
As opposed to what?
Why is that a compliment? A lot of the times it's sort of backhanded compliments. One of them that a lot of them say they get is asking them where they're born or where they're from. And it's like, oh, well,
Right.
I'm from Los Angeles or something. And then they say, no, I mean, where are you really from? It's like, here, I'm from America. And it's one of those things that Latino people face that just reinforces the idea that they're not really American, that they're foreign in some way, when, like, most of the time if you meet a Latino person, they're an actual American. So it's a really terrible thing to assume about them. I know for African Americans and people of color, one thing that I've heard get cited a lot is the "can I touch your hair" thing. Or asking them about their... Yeah,
Who the fuck does that?
I don't know. It's like, ooh, can I touch your hair?
That's like when people ask if they can touch a pregnant woman's belly
Yeah.
that they don't even
and
know.
I went through that shit, and it's fucking creepy.
Or sometimes they don't even ask. They just go up and start
And touch you.
feeling it. There was a shit white girls say to black girls one on
Yeah,
YouTube. That was pretty good.
Really, there's a shit X's say to Y's for every occasion out there.
There really is. So you should look that up.
It's highly entertaining. And kind of depressing at the same time.
A good resource if you're wanting to look for I guess examples of all sorts of microaggressions that are done against many different marginalized groups, you can go to microaggressions.com. It's the Microaggressions project, where basically people submit their stories of things that happen to them. Let me see if I can find a good one to read.
I just wanted to go back to your where are you really from comment that you talked about.
Yeah.
That kind of ties back to one that trans people get a lot, which is, what's your real name? Which I kind of love when people ask me that, because I haven't changed my name my whole life. My mom gave me a girly name, so it worked out well in my favor. But I love when people try to, like, microaggress against me. I don't know what the hell.
Like, that is my name.
Yeah. And they're like, what's your real name, Dorian? No, I mean, what name were you given at birth, Dorian? No, I mean, like, what name did your mom give you when you were born? It's Dorian. And they're like, what's your real name, Dorian? No, I mean, what name were you given at birth, Dorian? No, I mean, like, what name did your mom give you when you were born? It's Dorian. And they're like, what's your real name, Dorian? No, I mean, what name did your mom give you when you were born? It's Dorian. No, I mean, what's on your birth certificate? Dude, I don't know
Dorian.
how many times I can tell you this.
And even if the thing is, even if you had changed their name, even if at some point you had changed your name, that's still your real name.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
I
none
just
of their
like being
business.
able to troll transphobes.
It's like
Yeah.
it's none of their business what your
You have a
first
special
name
power
was.
there.
I would like to say that there are other microaggressions that are against women. One that really annoys me is any time at work, either my stomach hurts or I have a headache or anything, it's always, oh, I bet you're on your period, or
Ugh.
I bet you're pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
right
pregnant?
now it'd be true.
Shut
We're
up.
all on our fucking periods, you motherfuckers.
No, it's not
So
pregnant
the fuck
time.
what?
That's what time it is.
It's not
Yeah.
pregnant time.
Yay.
But it's still annoying because it's like no matter when it is, and it's like, what? You just assume automatically that it's my period. Like, if a guy's stomach hurts, I'm like, oh, I bet someone just kicked you in the balls. Like, I don't know. It's really annoying that you automatically assume it's one of those things. Especially back when I used to be on birth control and I didn't really have a period and people would still do that. It's really annoying.
I almost think that's why I really enjoy man colds. Because people
Man
use...
cold?
Yes, because people
what the
use...
fuck is a man
Oh,
cold?
Oh, I'll go into it. People always use your period against you. They're like, oh, you're a girl, you have your period. I said this to Daniel when he was sick, and he actually got offended. He was like, what the fuck are you talking about, man colds, do. He was reacting differently to a cold than some people I know that are booby people. I don't know how to put
Booby
this.
people.
People that have boobs. Basically, there's this thing where men, when they have colds, they react differently than women. They tend to act like they're dying, that it's the end of the world, and that they need a lot of love and care and soup and ringing the bells and all that shit. It is actually something that people have studied scientifically about men, that they react differently to colds than women. I don't know if it's that women are more resilient and been through so much shit. I don't know if it's just like something that people have made up. It doesn't matter if it's real or not. The point is there is a misconception or possible thing that actually occurs where men react to colds differently than women, where women are like, I have a cold, I'll go to work, I'll go to school, I don't care. And guys are like laying on the bed or the couch and they're like, I'm gonna die. It's the end of the world. And I know there's a bunch of women laughing right now because they probably tell this from their husbands. So basically it's kind of like a period. It's the one time where we get to throw the period thing in their face and we're like, oh, you're having your man cold.
Well, like, I've actually never heard of this before.
Oh, it's hilarious.
This is news to me, but I mean, men have like man periods. Their hormones cycle just like women's do, except
Yes.
it's like slightly different. Isn't it like 35 days instead of
Theirs is a
28
little
or
longer,
something
and they
like
don't
that?
have cramps like we do.
Yeah.
They have definite mood swings during those times, but that's what I always found the most hilarious about military groups. They were always like, we can't have women. What if they get on their periods and they act all emotional and do something
and
crazy?
then they all sync together. And
I'm like, you do realize dudes do this too, right?
And
Like,
also,
stop.
they do realize that a woman's period is often suppressed when she's under a lot of stress.
True.
So I doubt that many military women are even having their period when they're on duty and things like that.
certainly not during like
Yeah.
boot camp, I'm sure.
Like, I know I've gone through periods where it terrified me because I just stopped having my period. I was like, holy shit, but I wasn't pregnant. I was just really stressed out, and so I just stopped having it. That's actually a pretty good thing for women to have, because it prevents them from getting pregnant during times where they're really
it's your
stressed
body's
out.
it's your body's
Yeah.
way of saying, no, dude, we can't have a baby right now.
No
You need
babies
to-
right now.
No,
Something
just-
bad is happening. Wait, does it shut that whole thing down?
Shut that whole thing
Yeah.
down. If it's
bad.
legitimate stress.
If it's legitimate stress, it shuts the whole thing down.
I'm not saying it always happens, guys.
No,
Come on.
it really doesn't.
So are we just talking about periods now instead of microaggressions?
Oh, we did move into that realm, didn't we? It's Shark Week.
I would like to read a few of these from the microaggressions.com site, and these are all like reader submitted. One of them is, this is quoted, "You have access to birth control pills now. That doesn't give you an excuse to sleep around. My male gynecologist. I was 17 at the time and began taking the pill to regulate my period. I was not sexually active, and I had given no indication as to my sexual orientation. I felt awkward, sad, and resentful because this is a man I otherwise admire and respect."
Why is it any of his goddamn business whether she's sleeping around
I
or
don't
not?
know. I mean, it's
Slut
ridiculous.
shaming at its finest.
Here's one that I've actually encountered a lot of times from my brother-in-law, but it's something that someone submitted. "Stop crying and acting like a little girl. My sister to her 4-year-old son, who has a twin sister." My brother-in-law does this to my nephew all the time, and it's so fucking annoying, because
That just makes me uncomfortable.
it does. It makes me so uncomfortable. I'm like, you have 3 daughters, and you told them all this stuff. Like, yeah, I get it. He's being whiny and crying about nothing and whatever. You don't want him to be crying. That's fine. I understand you wanting him to calm down. But you don't have to shit on girls in order to do that. He didn't sit there and tell his girls not to be stupid little girls.
Don't be girls. Come on.
Like, no. He always says, act like a real man. Men don't cry. And I'm like, oh, fuck
gross.
that bullshit.
Well, here's the thing. If you go to other societies, you will see that it's okay for a man to cry. Mexico and a lot of Spanish cultures, they embrace a man being able to cry and to have emotions, I guess is the best way of putting it. America's this weird fucking place where men are not allowed to fucking cry, but it doesn't just go into men, because when someone says, "Don't act like a girl and stop crying," it does spread to us women too, and I know I get in that point where I'm like, no, I have to be strong and not cry about shit, and I get that weird hiccup thing in my throat where I'm like, not gonna, no.
Oh, here's one, and I actually have my own thing to go along with this. You can do X, it's not that hard. And the person who submitted it said, "I have an invisible physical disability. I hear this from teachers, friends, and parents when I try to tell them about my ability level." And this really bothers me. Almost any time, like I work at a restaurant, and almost any time one of the girls gets pregnant, because it happens, you know, we're all adults here.
Like you do.
Like, I get really pissed off, and I usually hear this from the other women that I work with. They sit there and judge whoever's pregnant at the time. They sit there, and when that person's not there, they judge her for any of the decisions that she makes. There's this one girl who's pregnant, and she's like 6 or 7 months pregnant, and I've heard women I work with judge her for continuing to serve while she's this far along. Well, the thing is, her doctor has said it's fine. There's another girl who's only like 2 months pregnant, and her doctor has told her not to continue serving, and they judge her for that too. Like, the same person...
Hooray, double standards.
The same person who judged the one girl who continued to serve, claiming that it would be bad for the baby, turned around and immediately judged the girl who had to switch to the host stand because, oh, well, she just needs to suck it up. Pregnancy isn't a disease. I hear that fucking shit all the time. It's like, no, it's not a disease, but you know what? It fucking affects your body, you jackass.
And it affects everybody's body differently. Like, when I was pregnant, I worked up until 2 weeks before I had Kylie. I was waddling around doing all different kinds of crazy crap. I don't know. I had a lot of energy and was able to do stuff. But I know lots of women, 3 months in, they're bedridden the rest of the time. I can't sit there and go, oh, because I was superpower woman while I was pregnant, that everybody's going to be in that position. And I'm not ever going to judge another woman
really
based
annoying.
on my experiences.
One time, what really bothers me, like, my sister once, I don't know, like 6 months ago or something, we were talking, she was asking me about if I was going to get pregnant or something, if I was going to have a baby, we were talking about it. And then out of the blue, she was like, you know, pregnancy was easy for me, but you have a really low pain tolerance, so I think it's going to be shit for you. And I just looked at her, I was like, what the fuck does low pain tolerance even mean? It's like...
With drugs, it doesn't mean much.
No, but the whole concept of it makes no sense to me, because unless you're feeling the pain that I'm feeling,
Yeah.
then you don't know how much I'm tolerating before I say anything.
It's true.
It's like, what? It really pissed me off, and it's like, so you're gonna judge, and she said it in a really judgy tone. It wasn't like a joking thing.
Was she microaggressing?
She was microaggressing.
Shall we go around the room and say some of our favorites that we have to deal with?
Let's go ahead. Liz, do you have any?
I think in my daily life, I guess I experience this. I walk and ride my bike a lot, and so I get catcalled and honked at, and
fucking cat calls.
I get people talking to me when I am just like going somewhere, and it's really annoying. And I've been waiting at the train station for my bus, and a guy kept asking me questions, and I was clearly reading my book with my book in front of my face, like 3 inches in front of my face, reading it, and he just kept asking me questions, and I just didn't want to talk to him. And I eventually told him that I was reading my book and didn't want to talk. But like stuff like that happens to me a lot, and it's really annoying, and I feel like that probably counts as a microaggression.
Yeah, me too. When I ride the train to school, so I'm on public transportation fairly often, like you, I'm guessing, and every time I have earbuds in my ears, even if I'm not actually listening to anything. Because again, that's just my little signal of saying, hey, I don't want to fucking talk to anybody right now. I have earbuds in my ears, and I'm reading. And still, like, at least once a week, there's some dude who's, like, got to try to strike up a conversation with me, and then, like, one question is fine, and then it just, like, keeps going. And I'm like...
The only, like, woman who's ever talked to me while I'm just, like, waiting around or walking somewhere was one lady, and she asked me questions about my bike. Like, she wasn't trying to talk to me, she was just curious about my bike. And there was, like, a really distinct difference between the way I'm treated by just, like, random men that I run into, and this one random lady who wanted to, like, ask questions about my bike. And, like, I don't know, I haven't taken the time to fully articulate it, but it would be nice to not get attention simply for being a woman.
Outside. You're female. I'm gonna hit on you.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it is.
You're asking for it.
You can tell that they're not really interested in you. They're just interested in the fact that you're female.
Yeah. You have titties.
In
I'm
fact,
gonna strike up a conversation with you.
The PUA troll on Shayra's Facebook actually said that at one point. He's like, well, if it doesn't work on one girl, I just move on to the next. And I'm like, so you don't really give a shit about the individual woman.
You're just looking for a hole to put your dick in.
You just go from one woman to the next until it works. It's like, no.
Yeah, but he was an asexual, so that's where it gets confusing to me.
I don't know. So he claims. I have no idea.
You
have weird trolls on your page,
Our listeners don't know about this, like, crazy, long argument you're having on Facebook.
But it is very
1,700
strange
comments.
to say that you are purposely going after people and you keep going from person to person to person to try to find a sexual relation when you're an asexual. I have not heard of it. Maybe I'm ignorant about asexuals, so...
Well, I'm gonna go with my personal favorite microaggression, and that's whenever I come out to somebody as trans, and then inevitably, every fucking time, the first thing that they tell me is, you don't look trans, or, oh, I had no idea, or some, like, version of that, which I know is an attempt to be a compliment, but at the same time, it makes me really uncomfortable, because I have a lot of friends who I'm guessing they would assume look trans, and that just makes me feel really uncomfortable. Like, what do you think trans people look like?
Yeah.
You know? Trans people just look like people. We walk among you. We're not that different, really. Like, it's just irritating. And if I get pissed at them, then I'm being a bitch, because I'm not taking the compliment. And if I don't get pissed at them, then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a good tranny, not like those other ones. Like, I can't win either way when they do shit like that. Like,
but I don't think people mean it out of spite, but they don't even realize what they're saying, and that's really what microaggressions
well, and that's what microaggressions are.
Yeah,
they don't know what they're saying.
Idea,
they don't
their
even
ignorance.
think about it.
And I think this happens with atheism. This happens with sexuality. This happens with gender. This happens with so many different things that people just do not get. And they don't think they're saying anything rude. I think the thing that I hate the most as far as microaggressions is concerned is when people try to put it in question format. They try to act like, I'm an ignorant person.
I'm just asking questions.
I just wanted to understand this a little bit better. What do you think about blobbity blobbity blue? And you're like, you don't realize how fucked up your question just was. Like, it was the worst fucking question you could possibly ask a person.
One thing I guess we can go around and talk, since we're all marginalized in different ways here. As an atheist, recently I kind of struck up a friendship with this Baptist girl. Baptist woman. I'm trying to get out of the habit of calling adults girls.
That's why I hate girlfriend and boyfriend too.
I still do it just out of habit, but just pinch me or something when I do it. This Baptist woman, she's an adult.
I call men boys too, so
yeah,
I try
I
to
don't
get
know.
out of the habit of it though.
I'm trying. Sometimes I call men boys, but more often I call them men, so I gotta beat the microaggressions out of yourself, I guess.
Yep.
But anyways, so I befriended this Baptist woman, and she's pretty nice and everything. We go out and have coffee every once in a while. The first time that we had coffee, though, she insisted, like, she really wanted to hear my story about how I left Christianity, went into atheism. So we talked about that for like an hour. Like, I seriously went back and talked about, for an hour, everything I went through going from being a Christian to being an atheist. And, I explained to her, like, how hard I tried to continue believing and all that stuff. The nights that I stayed up crying and praying and everything for, like, God to give me some sort of sign. All that stuff that most former religious people would be at least a little bit acquainted with. And, at the end of it all, she looks at me and she goes, you know what I think would really help, like, you know what I think would make you believe again? And I was like, no, what?
Please tell me.
So please let me know. And she goes, if you just really opened up your heart to God. And I almost wanted to slap her in that moment. And I just looked at her and I was like, stop right there. That's really offensive.
Have you not been listening to me?
And I was like, I just told you that I spent years trying to do that. And it's this whole thing where they just assume you haven't tried hard enough or something. It's really annoying.
Pray harder.
Oh my god.
Do you have something, Liz?
Oh yeah, the amount of times I've opened my heart to the amount of times that I've opened my heart to God should, like, I don't know. I have like a wide open heart. It's like
I guess ridiculous. I'm not good enough then. Those nights that I stayed up crying until the sun rose. No, that wasn't good enough for God.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't know what else he's expecting of me.
That wasn't really genuine, apparently.
No, that wasn't genuine. I don't know. That's something that really pissed me off.
I think the thing that pisses me off the most is when people question Daniel and I's gender, because we talk about being genderqueer, because both of us are, we don't know what the fuck we are most of the time. We have to try to reevaluate ourselves almost on a hour-to-hour basis, maybe day-to-day if we're lucky. We feel very confused. There's a lot of times where Daniel's the woman and I'm the man, or he's the man and I'm the woman, or whatever, based on societal norms, and it becomes confusing to us. And when we try to discuss this with people and we have a hard time understanding ourselves. So when we try to discuss it with ignorant people, one of the common things that people will say is like, well, Daniel, do you have a penis? And he's like, okay, yeah. Well, then you're a boy. And he's like, okay, but you don't say that about other people. Well, that's different for those other people. Why is it different for other people and not for me?
Know.
I hate that. And they don't question me, though. When I talk about it, it's fine. Because I don't have a penis, it's fine for me to question things. The things that I go through is fine.
Well,
but because he has a penis, he can't question who he is. Because femininity, is that, can I not say the word right now?
Femininity.
Well,
I can't
the
say
alcohol
nice
probably
use.
isn't helping.
The femininity is evil, it's bad, it's negative. So anytime he has these womany feelings, that's bad. But if you have any manly feelings as a woman, that's okay. Because man is good, woman is bad. So his is all negative. His is a bad thing. And he should feel very bad about it. He should feel bad about wanting to shave his legs. He should feel bad about anything that might be conceived or preconceived as being feminine in our society.
Well, that makes me think of my other favorite one that I get all the time is when I come out to people as trans. First they'll say, "Oh, I didn't know you were trans," or "Oh, you don't look trans," or whatever version of that microaggression. And then the next one is what I like to call the dick question, because that's really all that they're asking.
No.
Dick question.
Yeah, it's the dick question. They're like, "Have
Why
you
do
had
people
surgery?"
care?
That's all
Why?
that it is the dick question. And trans men get it too. And really, all that it boils down to is, do you or don't you have a dick? That's all they really want to know, but they try to phrase it slightly
with genderqueer
differently.
people, though.
Yeah.
Why do they care about your genitals? Why
It's
does
like-
that have anything to do with what we're talking about?
If you're not this person's doctor or the
Right.
person or their sexual partner, it's none of your fucking business what their genitals are.
Well, and yeah. So I don't know how to explain this to people, but gender doesn't exude out of the penis. That's not how gender works.
Other things.
That's the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Other things exude out of
It's
the
not
penis.
like penis equals male, no penis equals female.
This is true.
But that's how most people think of it. And it's not even like, do you have a vagina? It's, do you have a penis, or, oh, there's no penis.
Right.
That's really all that it boils
Nobody
down
asks
to.
about those things. They never are like, oh, do you have a vagina? I never hear that. It's
Nope.
always, do you have a penis?
Yep. That's what
the
everyone's
only
obsessed
question that pops up. Why?
I'm just gonna start introducing myself to people and being like, hello, my name is Dirty Nerdy. I have a penis, even though I don't, just because it'll be
Just
fun.
make it a thing.
Yep.
So if you meet me at
See if it's a
Skepticon,
question,
that's
Joe.
how I'm introducing myself.
You'll understand the inside joke.
I'm Dirty Nerdy, and I have a penis.
What?
Is that
Okay.
a drop?
That's
You could have a penis if you have a special toy.
We do have a special toy that gives me a penis.
Yeah.
Sort of. It's pretty hot.
Yeah.
We already went over that in another show, though.
I actually just thought of something that happened to me. It was a couple years ago, but it's still annoying. I'm like almost 26, but I still always get carded, like at the movies and shit. And I was out with the boy and another couple of friends, and I was like the second oldest person there, I think. It was like me and my friend were the two oldest, and then the boy and my friend's girlfriend at the time were both younger than us. And I was the only one to get carded. We didn't get carded while buying the tickets because we got them at the little like online ticket thing. But when they went to rip the tickets, I went first. And the lady at the booth to rip my ticket was like, "Oh, can I see your ID?" So I was like, "Okay." And I have this giant fucking purse, so I'm annoyed that I'm having to look through my purse. But, you know, I don't complain because I think it's their job. I have to ID people for alcohol, you know, I get it. But then she doesn't ID my boyfriend or anyone else in the group. And then they're starting to walk away, and the boy is like standing there waiting on me, and she goes, "Oh, are you going in with him?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, you can go then." And I'm like, "What? I'm older than he is." And I just looked, I was like, "I'm older than he is." And I was just like so mad, and I just turned away and walked
The
off.
exact same thing happens with me
Oh,
and Chris.
it pissed me off so much.
I got
Like,
carded.
No, he's not allowing me in. I allow him in.
I got carded for a rated R movie. I have been able to watch rated R movies for a fucking decade. I just want to point that out right now. And I got
Like-
carded for a rated R movie. And Chris was right there with me. It was he and I, and it was a date night, and I can't remember what we were saying. It was The World's End, I think. And we got carded on a date night, and they were like, "Oh, ma'am, can I see your ID?" And I wasn't going to do it. I was like, "Are you going to ask to see his ID?" And they're like, "Well, no." I was like, "Why not? Does he look like he's well over 17? Well, of course he does." It's like, "So aren't you concerned that he and I are dating if you think I'm under the age of 17, which is the age of consent in Texas?"
I mean, it just pissed me off. It wasn't just that they didn't card them. Because, yeah, the boy has facial hair. I guess it makes him look older. But it's the fact that it's like, he's obviously, did they think he was my dad? Like, he's not my dad. He's not that old.
Yeah.
there's no way he looks that old, and there's no way I look that young. So I'm like, you're just like, you have permission from your boyfriend
Thanks
to go
to this
see
man
this movie.
with you.
Oh, the man is with you? Okay, you can go in then. And
Well, Liz
I
was
was
there
so
when I
pissed
had to
off.
experience this at the Dropkick Murphys concert. Patrick was there too, who's downstairs, where I was carded, and the guy was a total asshole about it, a total dick face about it. He was like, you know, I need to see your ID, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, I'm fucking 31 years old, god damn it. What the fuck am I getting carded at a fucking concert for?
like,
It was so frustrating to me. He's like, I need to see your ID, bro. He's like really pissed off about it, and then I was like, okay, and I showed him my ID, and he's like, okay, just take it as a compliment. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna take your harassment
I hate
and
when people
aggression
do
as
that.
a
I'm like-
fucking compliment. Thank you very much.
I hate when people say that when they card you, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to accept your ageism as a compliment.
Absolutely not.
I don't want to look younger. I want to look my age. I don't give a fuck if
Well,
I'm
I'm
old.
fucking 31. I'm fine with looking 31.
like, I don't mind getting carded for alcohol so much because...
I don't either, because I've only been able to buy it for 6 years.
Well, it's like, there are places where even though legally they don't have to card anyone, like... Basically, the law is as long as they look 40 or something, you don't have to
Yeah.
card them.
I
It
worked
depends
at-
on where you are.
I worked at Walmart where you have to look over 40 in order,
Yeah,
in order
that's
to not
how it
get
is where
That's
I
carded.
the
work.
general laws, over 40.
But
But-
if I walk into a concert
But
and
I
get
worked-
a thing, and I order the alcohol, and I have it in my hand, the bouncer thinks that he's somehow thwarted the fucking system. I'm pretty sure they've checked my ID 500 times now, motherfucker.
Yeah, you already had the
Stop
alcohol
it.
in your hand. That's bullshit.
Like, fuck off. Seriously.
But I mean, I used to work at Taco Cabana, and it was if you didn't, I had to card. If my own grandmother came in there and ordered a margarita, I would have to card her. And they had a camera on the cashier, and they would fire people for it. I witnessed somebody get fired for not carding someone. And the person was of age. They weren't younger or anything, but they got fired for it because it's just something they have to look out for. So when I'm at those types of places, I don't mind it so much. I would get pissed off if I've already bought the alcohol and been carded and somebody else
And have
cards
a
me.
fucking band around my goddamn wrist.
Like, what?
Seriously, fucker?
Yeah, that...
Oh, maybe they didn't know what they were doing when they put that band around your wrist. Like,
But
I don't
fuck
know.
off.
That's what I had to do when I was on my roller derby team, because we served alcohol, and
Yeah.
just so you know, being on a roller derby team isn't that glamorous. Like, you have to do a lot of random ass jobs, including checking everyone's ID before they go and watch your game. And so we were all TABC certified, and we asked everyone, every person that walked through the door, can I see your ID? I don't have it. Okay, I guess you're under 21 then. Like, that's how it works.
I had a lady get really mad at me when I worked at Taco Cabana for asking to see her ID. And I was like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can get fired for not giving you.
I ask everyone.
I
I
have to
have
ask
to.
everybody. And she's like, wow, she was really mad. And I get that it's annoying. I get it, but you just have to understand they're trying to do their job, and I don't.
Here's
I'm
my
less
question,
annoyed.
though.
I'm
The
less
thing is,
annoyed at
carded
getting.
everybody.
Yeah.
I didn't just do it to her. I carded every single person who
But
walked
here's
up
my
there.
question.
So,
When you go to the store
yeah.
and you buy a 6-pack of beer, and you're with your kid who's 10 years old, they don't give a fuck that your 10-year-old's with you.
They still card you.
Well, no, but they card me. They don't card my 10-year-old. They don't assume I'm giving my 10-year-old a 6-pack of beer. But if I go with my fiance, who's 20, they want to card him when I want to buy my pack of beer. Because he's standing near me. And they're like, we don't want you to give alcohol to a minor. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm 31 goddamn years old. I'm going to buy my fucking beer next to my fucking fiance who happens to be 20. And you can go fuck yourself if you don't like it, you piece of shit.
Deal with it.
Deal with it. Fucking take my goddamn money
had-
and fuck yourself.
I
How
had
about
that problem at Walmart one time. They didn't want to sell me booze because my fiance was right next to me, and he happened to, for some reason, not have his wallet or something. And I was like, what?
It's a rule, though. They
It
have
is
to
a
follow
rule.
it.
But
It
it's
is
still
not
annoying.
a rule that makes sense. My 10-year-old
Doesn't
can
make
stand
sense.
next to me. It's okay. My 20-year-old fiance can stand next to me. You're gonna Give it to the minor.
So
No,
that
he
makes-
doesn't drink IPAs. He hates pale ale. Fuck you, motherfucker. I'm drinking this
And then they'll be like, wait, he's had alcohol?
That's not my problem. I'm in Texas where you are legally allowed to drink if you are with your parent or guardian or your spouse.
So I just want to throw out that my favorite liquor store is like it's a huge liquor store. It's like the size of a
Yeah, I've
Toys
been
R
in there.
Us
It's a supermarket.
because it used to be a Toys R Us. And they have children's shopping carts, like those ones with the little kids' cars built
I've
into
seen that,
them.
yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
It's hilarious. I got annoyed right after I turned 21. A friend of mine was throwing a party, and he was younger than I was, so he gave me like $100. It was like, go in and buy this alcohol, and I had never been inside a liquor store before. Like, I had no fucking clue where any of this was. I didn't know what half the alcohol on the list was, because I don't know. Before that, I just drank whatever people handed me at parties.
Right.
That's smart to do, right?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Do that, everyone.
Please, don't do that. But yeah, so I go in there and I even go up to the counter and I'm like, hey, I've never been in a liquor store before. Can you help me find this stuff? And I show him the list. And it's like so obvious I'm buying for a party. And this is my first time in a liquor store and I'm super young. And I get up to the counter and I'm like so excited to pull out my ID. Like I start to pull it out because I'm like, I'm going to get carded for the first time after I turn 21. I'm so excited. And then they don't card me. And I was like, are you kidding me?
That's you're like,
I
I
could've
demand
done
to
this
be
last
carded
week.
right now.
Why didn't I just buy this last week then? What the hell? And it's like they just spent 20 minutes. I guess it's because I was buying so much alcohol. They didn't want to.
They're like,
They're like,
whatever.
"This is nice
Whatever.
paycheck."
We're getting money from you. But I was really annoyed because I wasn't carded.
Yeah.
So I guess cashiers can't win or lose in that one. They just can't win. If they card someone, they get pissed off. If they don't card them, they get pissed off.
I'm sorry, but if I was gonna go out and buy booze for a young person, or be a young person
They
who's
wouldn't
gonna
be there
buy
with
booze,
you.
Well, yeah, if I was gonna
Don't
buy
worry.
booze for a young person, I wouldn't have them standing next to me. But if I was gonna be a young person buying booze, I wouldn't be like so nonchalant to be like, "Hey, can you help me find the shit on this
right.
list?"
I don't. How do
But
I
maybe that's the
alcohol?
best
Will you help
way.
me with this?
Hey, I want drinks. Help me drink.
I would
Yeah.
have asked for your ID.
They did not. They did not. I don't want to say which place it was because I don't want them to get shut down or anything.
But you were 21, so they wouldn't be shut down. But still, it doesn't
They
matter.
can still be shut down just for not asking.
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
Texas has weird laws.
Yeah, they do have very weird laws. Like when I first moved here and tried to buy beer on Sunday because, football games happen and people like to drink around those things. And I personally like to drink a lot around football games because I don't fucking give a shit about fucking football games.
I don't
So drinking is the best part about it. So I go to buy beer in the, 10 or 11 o'clock on a Sunday, and this lady got pissed off at me. Why are you trying to put one over on me? And I'm like, put one, I'm from California, I'm a confused person. Like, you're not supposed to buy alcohol, apparently, before noon on Sunday
Oh.
in Texas.
Yeah. Because
And you
of
can't buy
Jesus.
any hard alcohol on Sunday because of Jesus. But the worst part is I have to ask this really big question. You can't buy hard alcohol anywhere except for in particular hard alcohol stores, not grocery stores or everything like in California. Basically, they're telling you, go to a bar, get wasted, and drive around on the roads. And this is probably why there's so many problems in Dallas with so, please stop doing that. Please allow people to buy alcohol and drink in their homes.
I thought you were talking to me about my drops.
Boo.
I don't know. I typically don't drink unless I'm not driving or unless I can stay wherever it is that I'm drinking.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Like
Yeah.
you're at the nerd cave.
Yep. I'll just pass out right there on the floor
Yep.
later on.
Or on the couch. That's more likely.
Can I ask a question on the topic of microaggressions?
Sure.
Yes, you can.
So, for people who are legitimately curious about the kinds of questions that are usually found to be offensive, how can those people find the answers to those questions that they honestly are curious about.
Google.
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 But, like,
Stop asking your friends who are in a minority group shitty fucking questions in a shitty fucking way. Just Google it.
And it depends on the setting.
It
like,
does.
If I have a friend who, like, I already have a good relationship with, and it's an appropriate setting, we're not out in public or something, and they have a genuine question to ask me about, I don't know, how hormones work or whatever, then I don't mind answering that question. But if it's like some strange dude on the internet who's just like, hey, I heard you're a tranny, I want to know how hormones work, then I'm just like, fuck off, let me Google that for you.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
Here's a Google it.
That's typically, and I've had this conversation recently with a friend of mine. They're like, well, what if I really am interested in this subject and I want to learn more about it? I'm like, well, there's always Wikipedia. It's usually pretty good.
Google.
There's Google. You can there are plenty of, like, seriously, I had somebody jump into a conversation on my Facebook. We were talking, I don't even remember specifically what we were talking about, but it revolved around the concept of rape culture, and he jumped in with his opinion and then was like, what's rape culture?
Oh.
And I was like, why are you jumping into this discussion? You don't even understand the concept that it's based around.
Behold, a man has arrived with his manly opinion.
Yeah, and anyways, and it's stuff like that. It's like, don't jump into those conversations if you don't understand the basic concepts around them. Go and Google some stuff first. And if you see a discussion like that going on, at least for me, I'm perfectly okay with my friends, like, either messaging me or maybe text me or pull me off to the side whenever and be like, hey, I saw this discussion going on and I didn't want to join because I don't know that much about it, but I'm interested in learning. Can you answer these questions? Like, that's cool. I'll be okay with that. If they start turning into accusatory questions, like, why are you feminists so mad and shit like that, then I'm like...
I'm mad because of these kinds of questions.
Exactly.
Thank you
And
for
then I'm
proving
like,
my point.
okay, go back to the Google for a while.
I think that anytime you are asking a question and you're actually trying to bait somebody into saying something specifically, you're not asking a question.
Yeah.
You're trying to corner somebody. Be aware of that. Don't fucking do that shit.
And I can tell the difference. I have a friend from high school who reads my Facebook page, and he jumped into one conversation once and realized he was in the wrong neighborhood. And he
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Now he reads this shit, and he's starting to understand. It's like an amazing thing to watch. He messages me a lot, and he asks me questions about it, and I explain it, and he's like, okay, let me think about it. And I can tell he's actually thinking about the answers I give him, because the people who go out and go onto my public posts and ask these questions, they respond within like 10 seconds. Like, I'll post a response, and within 2 seconds, they have a response written. And I'm like, were you actually asking a question in order to understand, or were you asking a question in order to try to get a gotcha in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's like having this friend that I've watched actually trying to understand. Like, he'll ask me a question, I explain it, we discuss it for a few minutes, and then I don't hear from him for a day or so, and then he'll come back and say, hey, I thought about this, and what about this question? And I can tell that he's trying to understand. But the ones who go and they're like, I just want to learn, so you post a few links, and they're like, that's too much to read. Like, well, then you're not going to learn.
Too long didn't read? Fuck off, motherfucker. I read everything.
And that's another microaggression. People... Yeah, go ahead.
As recipients of microaggressive questions and comments, what is a good way for us to turn that into an opportunity to actually have a constructive conversation about those topics?
That's really hard, because it's hard not
Dory,
to be snarky.
You're the best at having
Yeah,
constructive.
because we are fucking snarky as fuck. We
are.
get pissy.
Well, and
Dory's better.
I think a little bit of snark is an acceptable way of dealing with microaggressions. Like, not enough where you're just being flat out accusatory, but like, for example, when I get asked, how do two girls have sex? And I say, very well, thank you. Or
No, you're just hilarious.
Yeah.
or if they're like, have you had surgery? And I'm like, are you circumcised? Like, Things
Yeah.
like that will just kind of turn, like, just enough to turn it around for them to be like, oh, that was a dumb question, and I probably shouldn't have asked that.
Yeah.
Like, little things like that, like a smidge of snark can go a long way. If it's too much, then it's, like, doing more harm than good.
Yeah.
For me, a lot of the times it really depends on where I am that day. There are some days where I have more patience and I'm like, okay, let's sit down and talk about this. And
There's other days where you're like, fuck you.
yeah, I'll try to get to the heart of the discussion, and it depends on what question they're asking, but I try to get to the heart of what they're really asking. Like, a lot of times they'll be like, I'm trying to think of an example here. Like, when people ask me questions about being bi, and they're like, well, don't bi people just aren't they just attracted to everybody? And I'm like, so are you just asking whether or not bi people are all sluts? What are you really asking here?
What are you getting at here?
Yeah. And it just really depends on the day. Sometimes I just link them to somebody, especially if it's online. It's a lot easier to just link them to somebody who said it better than I can. So that helps too. Especially if it's a day when I'm really not in the mood for that shit. I'm like, just read this.
Yeah. Well, and as I've pointed out before, I'm privileged enough that people don't know that I'm trans unless I come out to them as trans, because we have cissexual assumption in society. So people just assume that I'm cis everywhere I go until I come out to them and tell them that I'm not. So most of the time, the only time I'm going to deal with those types of questions are online, and I generally avoid confrontations online to begin with because I don't handle them as well. Or if I'm dealing with them in person, it's because I'm doing something officially as an out trans person. Like, I'm doing some kind of public speaking engagement, some kind of activism where I'm already mentally and emotionally prepared for that situation.
Right.
So I'm able to deal with that
like
stuff a lot more patiently. Exactly. Like when I go to speak at conventions, I'm like, all right, I already know 90% of the questions I'm going to get already.
I actually just saw something that's pertinent here to our discussion. It's something David Fitzgerald posted. It's the article is called "Feminists Are Not Responsible for Educating Men."
Thank you.
And he quotes it. It says, "My advice to men who genuinely wish to learn about feminism is this. Read and listen to the voices of women when they explain what misogyny feels like and how it operates. Never ask women to find resources for you. Seriously, get a library card or the internet."
Thanks, David.
Thank you, David Fitzgerald. We love you. And I'm not saying that it's never okay to ask questions. Like I said, if you really want to know, I think it's better to ask them, like, I guess in private. Like, if you meet this marginalized group of people and they're having an intense discussion about something they experience,
that's not the time.
That is not the time. Message them later, call them later and say, hey, I listened to what you were saying later and I want to learn more. I have these specific questions. Don't jump into the discussion and derail what they're talking about to force them to educate you, because if you read what they're saying or listen to what they're saying, you're going to get educated, I mean, that's the easiest way to do is just, like, be quiet for a second and listen.
Be friends with people and talk to them.
That works, too.
And get to know them, and you actually fucking learn all that shit just by talking to people. But I do like Dory's talk about everything you ever wanted to ask a trans person were too afraid to ask.
It's my most popular talk, I give.
It really is the greatest. Honestly, if anybody wants an amazing speech at their fucking convention, you need to contact Dorian Mooneyham for that, because
the full title is Everything You Ever Wanted to Know About Transsexuals But Were Too Polite to Ask.
I love that.
and the thing is people are afraid of asking questions, and I think that's what makes that title so funny. It's because we really are afraid to ask certain questions about stuff, and we do want to understand others better, but you have to ask yourself, what is your question meaning? Like, if you're asking a question about someone's personal genitals, that question has gone over a line.
It's a little creepy.
It's a little creepy. But if you're asking, is it easier to, what do you say, build a pole
It's easier to dig a hole than
Yeah.
build a pole.
Yeah.
I would like
Those
to,
are questions that are okay, and they're legitimate questions.
I would like to use, I won't say this person's name, but they are commenting on the article that I just quoted, and they jumped into the discussion without reading the article, first of all, claiming that the article, like the link didn't work. They jumped in saying, oh, well, an unwillingness to answer honest questions is counterproductive, and somebody else was like, well, maybe you should read the article. So then they came back and they said, okay, I read the article, so I want to learn about feminism. I'm going to go download the Scum Manifesto. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you know enough about feminism to have heard about the Scum Manifesto, then you're being an asshole here, and you're just trying to derail the discussion.
Yeah.
If you're really wanting to learn about it, like, this person obviously knows more about feminism than they're letting on, because you have to know that
I'm
modern
ignorant
feminism
about
does not follow the Scum Manifesto, because there were a lot of problematic things in it. And so that's one way of showing that this person was not being honest. They were trying to get people into a gotcha.
If you're ever trying to push somebody into a gotcha moment, there's nothing wrong with doing that, actually, because I have done that to some people. But if you're trying to push somebody into a gotcha moment when it has to do with their minority status, you're being an asshole.
You're being shitty.
Yeah. And this person is basically like, no, I'm just trying to prove that you should give, that it is your responsibility to give resources. Otherwise, people will just go and read whatever they want and get a bad idea. And I'm like, you're not proving anything other than how much of a jackass you are. So, good job. That was just my example of a disingenuous question.
I guess my basic advice as far as microaggressions is concerned, my basic advice is try your hardest. If you're trying to actually seek out knowledge, try to actually seek out knowledge. Don't actively go out to try to put somebody down or put them in a gotcha moment. Actually legitimately look for information if you're legitimately looking for information. And I think the other part is, if you are ignorant of shit, try not to be ignorant of shit instead of putting it on others.
Well, if you're aware enough to know that you're ignorant of something, then that's your opportunity to go do your own research.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's like one of the first steps of being an ally, is go do your own damn research, because you can't always rely on other people to do it
You
for
can't have you go out and have your gay friends so that you can try to learn from your gay friends about gayness. How about you just have friends?
Yeah.
Like, that should be your first and foremost thing you're going for.
I want to say, don't be friends with marginalized people just so you can say, I have a
black friend, gay friend,
trans friends, whatever.
redheaded friend, whatever.
Ginger friend. Everybody wants a ginger friend.
We can't say that word.
Yeah, we can't say that word.
I can't say that word.
I did have a gingerbread cookie today, though.
Okay, gingerbread is okay for you to say.
She almost killed me with her laser eyes.
I had bad laser eyes there.
So, it's pretty good advice about microaggressions.
I think so.
Yep.
I'm glad Liz brought us back on topic and had those great questions. Good job, Liz.
Yay, Liz.
She went
She ran
downstairs.
downstairs to talk
Liz.
to boys.
Well,
Boys.
that's all the time we have.
Straight girls.
Oh, straight girls.
She caught us.
She caught us talking about straighties.
That's all the
Straight
time
trope.
we have. Join us next week when we geek out about Harry Potter.
Oh my God, Harry Potter!
Hey, I just want to say, if anybody wants to geek out about Harry Potter with us, please go to our Facebook page.
Yes.
Go to Secular Views Facebook page. Write what you are most interested in. I don't care how ridiculous it is. If it's your obsession with how awesome Ron is, and you want to go on a diatribe that's...
Ron. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
He's
That's
one
my
of your
point.
people. You should be more supportive, right?
Oh!
His sister and older brothers are better.
Okay.
That's true. They
Ron's
are.
pretty useless.
Hey,
I
he
like
did,
Ron,
he
kind
did go in
of.
that really awesome music video, though. But my point is if you want to go on a diatribe about how awesome Ron is, obviously that would be an awesome thing to go on, because Amy will disagree with you immensely
Dirty
and have
nerdy.
something to
Dirty Nerdy will totally
debate with
disagree
you
with
about.
you.
I will.
please do write anything you know about Harry Potter, and we will go over My Immortal. It will happen, so you don't need to bring that up.
I have a feeling
There will be drops.
I have a feeling at least 2 of our topics are going to be about fan fiction and why there need to be mental health practitioners in Harry Potter.
Nobody cares what Ebony is wearing.
Because
That's all
Dirty
I'm gonna
Nerdy and I could seriously write a fucking novel on.
We almost did that one night.
Yeah, we almost did. So it's gonna happen. Be excited. Harry Potter's coming next week.
Woo!
Be sure to like Shethinkers and the Dirty Nerdy on Facebook.
If you like the Dirty Nerdy on Facebook, you can get on there and argue with me about Harry Potter. It'll be
Yay.
fun. Oh my god.
Tell her why Ron is awesome and she's wrong about him.
I have citations from the books to show how terrible Ron is.
I will argue so much with you.
Do it, Liz. Troll my Facebook page.
And also follow us on Spreaker and Twitter. Tonight's episode was sponsored by Audible.com. For your free 30-day trial and a free audiobook of your choice, go to www.audibletrial.com/shethinkers. And now, in the interest of being fair and unbiased, here is today's counter-argument.
Conservatives have argued for years, decades in fact, that the family must be at the core, at the very center of our worldview. On issues like school prayer, or the right to life, or traditional marriage, homeschooling, conservatives have said protecting the family is the single most important part of our agenda. And it is. Now, today, some critics say that times have changed. Some of them say that we have to change with them. They say that we have to reach out to people beyond our conservative base. They say we have to change the way we think and the way we talk about families. It may surprise you to hear me say this, but I think they make a great point. Times have changed. We do need to broaden our appeal, and we need to change the way that we talk about the family. But ultimately, the critics have it exactly backwards. The problem is not that conservatives have focused too much on the family, but far too little.
Wrong, sir. Wrong. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Lift me up, let me go on silvery. Planet smooth while you're lying next to me. Like the sun high above, you're the whip and the glove. Miss me sweetly, I'd hide you find me. See some my toy store, never know what I'm looking for. Right on top of every wave the ocean makes. Take me out, mountain shiver under me. River running river over my feet. Like a world holding me, you're the clouds and the trees. Miss me sweetly, I'd hide you find me. See summer toy store, never know what I'm looking for. Right on top of every wave the ocean makes. And I read it in a storybook that a telltale heart is well understood. And you couldn't do a thing for me. I'm much past help you see.
Hello, it's time for the Easter egg.
Hi, everybody. You're in the super secret, sexy part of the show.
So, can I bitch for a minute about how I always
Hey,
fall
this
for
is supposed to be sexy time.
It's supposed to be sexy time.
I don't feel sexy. Fine.
None of us feel sexy. It's Shark Week.
Unacceptable! My lemon grab.
Woo! Wait, can we do German Sparkle Party?
I don't know the song. We're just
Just put on your rubber boots.
I don't have rubber boots.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to put on my
How the
bootstraps.
hell are we gonna have a German sparkle party then?
We have no sparkles. We have no German people.
You don't need German people to have a German Sparkle Party.
But it's German.
You just need fabulous people.
Okay, here it comes. Ready?
Ready? Okay.
Do you like to party? Yes, I like to party.
Are we muted? Yes, I like to party.
Great Easter egg, guys.
Yep, totally.
That's not the Easter egg.
What was the Easter egg then?
It's not what was, it's what is.
Wow.
What? It's future tense.
No, that's present tense.
It is present tense, but I'm saying it's gonna be something that is.
I'm confused and drunk.
That can't be the Easter egg. I know, talk about bubbles.
But we're already on. We're already live.
Everyone loves bubbles.
Recording.
No, I know, but we're still gonna be recording in 2 seconds from now. Look, watch.
Bubbles.
Like right now?
2. Future time.
Wow.
So, do we want to talk about Bubbles?
Yes, let's talk about
Oh yeah,
bubbles.
we have a mascot.
Bubbles is our mascot. Bubbles is the gender-neutral unicorn. So,
like
Bubbles isn't a she-thinker. Bubbles is a Z-thinker.
Thinks about
Bubbles is
sleeping.
a bubble, this bullshit.
Yep. Bubbles doesn't care for your gender norms.
Dory's making weird gestures with Bubbles' feet.
Bubbles has really sparkly hooves.
It's the German Sparkle Party.
Yep.
It's a German sparkle party.
Bubbles is a German sparkle party unicorn.
But he doesn't have rubber boots.
Nope.
It's
All right. It's fucking hot up here, so I'm going downstairs.
Yep. Fuck this. See you next week
End
for
of
Harry
show.
Potter. End of show.
Harry Potter.
Bye.